support.
Thank you very much, guys. Indeed, standing by with Mata, who has a lot of fans here cheering for him and had a fantastic game on Alistar. And a lot of people were looking at that bottom lane matchup of you guys versus Doublelift and Biofrost. How do you think you guys did? How do you think the lane matchup went?
마타 선수 우선 알리스타의 멋진 활약으로 승리 거둔 것을 축하드립니다. 이번 TSM과의 경기에서 많은 사람들이 이제 RNG 바텀 듀오랑 이제 TSM 바텀 듀오의 그 대결에 대해서 관심을 이제 표출하고 있었는데 어땠었나요, 경기가?
일단 첫 경기라서 좀 부담이 많이 있었는데 그래도 승리하게 돼서 좋고요. 사실 재경기를 하게 돼가지고 좀 불리하다 생각을 했는데 그래도 저희 팀 믿고 같이 게임 해가지고 저희가 이길 수 있었던 것 같아요.
Because it was our first game of the tournament, we were really worried and pressured, and also the remake also. I thought that it would have some kind of negative influence on us, but I'm glad our teammates were able to group together once more, and I'm also glad that we were able to win.
A fantastic start to Worlds for RNG. You guys didn't have the best summer split in the LPL. Rocky, not a lot of people know what to expect from you guys as a team, so can you tell us what are your expectations with RNG this World?
RNG 팀이 이번 LPL 이제 썸머 시즌에는 다소 이제 좀 불안한 경기력을 보이면서 많은 팬들이 RNG 팀으로부터 이번 대회 성적을 좀 이제 예상하기 되게 어려웠었는데 지금 RNG 팀 내부적으로 이번 대회에 대해 거는 기대가 어떻게 되는지 말씀해 주세요.
사실 뭐 크게 기대는 하지 않지만 그래도 저희가 경기를 많이 하다 보면은 자신감도 많이 찾고 충분히 좋은 성적 낼 수 있을 거라 생각이 들어요.
Honestly, we don't have our hopes too high, but I think as we play more games and as we progress, I think our team can get better and our players can also improve. So I think we can have a bit more hopes as the tournament progresses.
Okay, well, of course, there's a lot of history in that lane. You, of course, the winner in 2014 playing against Uzi. Then how much will you guys be able to do as a duo here at Worlds?
지금 같이 바텀 듀오를 서고 있는 우지 선수는 이제 2014년에 마타 선수가 롤드컵을 우승했을 때 상대편으로서 이제 같이 있던 선수인데 같이 이제 바텀 듀오를 하면서 이제 어떤 시너지를 내고 있는지 말씀해 주세요.
일단 우지 선수가 라인전에 대해서 최고라고 생각하기 때문에 라인전에서 저도 배울 게 많아가지고 그거를 통해 가지고 저희가 팀 게임 할 때 아주 좋은 뭐라 해야 되지? 그러니까 협력 플레이를 같이 할 수 있는 것 같아요.
I think Uzi has the best laning phase as an ADC in the whole world. So I'm also personally learning a lot from him. And as playing as a duo, I think we're putting in a lot of synergy, good synergy to our team, not only limit to the lane phase, but also to the entire game management and team fight as a whole.
Final question. There was a lot of hype surrounding TSM, of course, because we're playing here in North America as well. Do you still see them getting out of groups? And who are the two teams advancing?
그 이제 TSM 팀이 물론 여기가 이제 미국이라는 점도 있지만 많은 기대를 지금 모으고 있었습니다. 대회 이전까지. 지금 경기를 해보니까 TSM 팀이 8강 진출을 할 수 있을 것 같은지 아니면 좀 더 크게 8강에 이번 지금 죽음의 조라 불리는 D조에서 어느 두 팀이 8강에 진출할 것 같은지 말씀해 주세요.
일단 한 팀은 저희 팀이 올라갔으면 좋겠고요. 그리고 나머지 한 팀은 사실 모든 16팀이 경기력이 사실 그렇게 많이 차이 난다고 생각하지 않아요. 그래가지고 아마 마지막 날까지 가봐야 순위를 쉽게 알 수 있을 것 같아요.
Hopefully, our team will secure the first spot. And to be honest, I think that all 16 teams here contending at Worlds, the skill gap isn't as large as before. So I think all teams have a good chance to advance to the quarterfinals. So I think I'd have to see until the last day of the group stages to see which team will advance with us.
Yeah, of course, it was only the first game, but congratulations, Mata, on that victory. And he says that Jat was right all along, it seems. Let's go over to the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Shocks. RNG taking the final victory of day one. And gentlemen, I turn to you and on behalf of all NA fans, say, damn you.
It's not a matter of if the gap is closing, it's how far you can jump.
What? What is that? I don't understand what that is.
Nailed it.
No. All right, but talk to me because all three of you predicted the TSM victory here going into this sixth game. And of course, that's not what happened. Although they did have a pretty dominant early game, especially Svenskeren.
I mean, start of the day, Europe lets me down. 0-2 in predictions. I turn to the crowd, they're wrong, and they start leaving.
Yeah, look, they've all evacuated.
I feel this is my childhood all over again. Everybody keeps leaving me.
Well, Papa's right here.
I'm right here next to you. Look, we all predicted TSM to take it down, but as Jat was saying, this wasn't a 80-20. This wasn't a 70-30. This was a where's RNG at? And the answer was, as you know, especially the LPL caster on the desk, Spawn, was saying, controlled, smart, not over pursuing for fights. And this was just a different RNG. And suddenly, the texture of this Group D, the Group of Death, it's all up to play for.
And we'll get to see it in the replay, but I really like the moment where RNG was finally able to grab a hold onto the game by really, I think, reading onto what TSM's plan was. If you saw them from the regular season, you know that they're very predictable in how they invade. They will always contest pretty much every single buff, and we saw that in the beginning, contesting red, blue buff over and over and over, even picking up a kill on MLXG, greeting out for the blue buff, as Crepo had mentioned, but they were able to actually do it well and get a lot of kills out of that.
So now, before we get to that moment that you're talking about, I do want to take a second to recognize a player who individually played like a monster in Svenskeren on that Lee Sin. We saw with the remake, they opted to first pick it, and he went off on this champion.
I mean, just he understands what it means to hold your Q until the right time. In this exchange, he waited for Hecarim to go over the wall. In the later exchange, he'll wait to use his Q to get close enough so that the Orianna Pal can get on top of him. He can travel the wall there. Like, he's just so smart. The fact that here again, you know, he's like, should I path down? No, because then I endanger a 2-man ulti. So instead, he's going for the 1-man escape here into dash to dodge the Hecarim ulti. Not only does he drag Hecarim away from his teammate, the impending collapse here. This is the beauty. Holds Q, gets the ball on him, then follows after flash, and that combo. Ooh.
My favorite part is the fact that he walks up onto the brush. You recognize that Cassiopeia is looking to flash over, that she's looking to use the ultimate away, and you position yourself away from the Orianna so that either the ult hits one or the other, and she's basically doomed to die.
Yeah, it was absolutely fabulous play out of him, but as you mentioned, not enough. Because with this early game pressure, with the lead that was built in the top lane, and that 40 CS lead in the mid lane, RNG, they found their time to strike 19 minutes into the game around the Dragon Pit, 4 for 1 in favor.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. They're going for the blue buff invade, but Mata sees the opportunity right from the get-go, and just a beautiful chain of CC onto the Rumble ultimate. And TSM, instead of abandoning this situation, which is a clear 4v5, they keep going in and they try to take this fight, and it's not going to work out for them.
And this has always been RNG's forte. This team fighting, the decisiveness, just pull the trigger and go. The problem is that they had some issues in the setup before that. Like, when we say macro, we mean map movements, we mean objective setups, we don't mean when to fight. Because RNG, they're so decisive when it comes to team fighting. Like, and they can pull out leads or come back from like 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 gold deficits, and they have in the past with genius team fighting. And here they just all pulled the trigger together. The TP came in. It was marvelous.
And we spent the whole EDG game kind of ragging on Mouse, right? Mouse wasn't an impressive performer. They're not the best top laner in his league either, but Looper is the best top laner in the LPL. Former world champion, but of course, he was very much the 5th member of an all-star team. When he first went over to China, Mato I'm talking about here, it was Dandy Mata putting down wards, pretty much the old story. Now he's back with Looper, and this duo always had excellent teleports. It was out of frame in that replay, but the teleport from Looper was just majestic, best teleport of the game by far, and that's what opened it up. And then the next replay we get into, then it's going to be all about.
Yeah, let's push us to that. 32 minutes in, this is just where it all ends for TSM, and everything's great for RNG.
Just
3 for 0.
Keep your eyes out on Mata again. This guy with Flash is just such an absolute monster, and as soon as the Sivir ulti comes in, that's when you know they're happening.
There's more
a
to this
surprise
play, though.
cow with
Watch the fact that we also get the grounded effect. So when the 3-man pole on top of the equalizer, on top of the no ability to flash out, that was majestic.
Honestly,
layering.
it's play of dreams. You don't really think about these plays being able to be executed so well with the CC, with the layered abilities, that it's quite magical to watch these guys do it. I mean, I would have never dreamed of being able to pull something like this.
Yeah, and they make it seem easy because they're playing Sivir Alistar into Jhin Nami, and if you play that matchup, I think in an even skill bot lane, Jhin Nami will smash that to pieces. You have one kind of shell in your shotgun that you have to use, which is usually the flash in lane, but Mata, he used this flash outside of lane, came back, and they still won. They completely outclassed Bifrost and Doublelift.
I mean, the language you used to describe what this 2v2 lane was, the moment Alistair, remember, Alistair was the last pick into a terrible 2v2 lane phase. Not broadcast appropriate, what Crepo said. Regardless, they took the gamble, just like we've seen other players take the gamble of champions that leave lane, like the Poppy from Darshan that paid off there. The Alistair was for outside of lane. He wanted to make the plays, and he made those plays.
And just Mata's Alistar, like, he can't be stated enough. Everybody's like, up about it like on the internet, like in Twitter and stuff, and saying like how great it is, but it is truly.
How great is
It's
it?
greater than,
How great is it?
greater than that.
I can't swear because they'll fire me, but like it's effing fantastic. It's just like he understands the right moment to go for an aggressive combo where anybody else would hesitate fraction of a second, and that would lead to somebody escaping. Maybe he gets flashed. Like he is so aware of game-changing plays, and he not only does that once, twice, thrice, he does that like 5 times in his game alone.
And the implication for the future match is insane because these guys picked one of the worst lanes into this and were able to perform so amazingly. Like, what do you do against this? What are they going to do with Nabi?
I got to jump in here, guys, because while we're talking about Mata, we might as well award him the player of the game before I let you continue talking about Mata. 1, 2, and 15 on the Analyst, 94.1% kill participation. I mean, it all started with him, with the Lee Sin flash blown, that early invade out of lane off the first back, capitalizing on the blown flashes in the mid lane.
They'll have to ban the Alistair because of the implication.
Of course.
But I mean, think about the risk taking here. Last pick, Alistair, not good in lane. He took Ignite against a cannon. It's almost always automatic exhaust. Thunder Cow is, of course, the way he goes, the more offensive choice. It's basically all-out offense, all-out playmaking, and all-out MVP.
And actually, that first blood was a pretty nice macro play from RNG itself. You saw Zhao, who he puts an aggressive pink ward, then puts a green ward into the Raptor camp, and then immediately you see MLXG come in with Mata, and they recognize that Svenskeren used the safeguard on himself. Nice and easy setup, and that's really intelligent play to set your laner, set somebody else up with your own vision, and it's hard to predict that from TSM's side.
Well, NA's sweethearts in TSM suffer a defeat at the hands of RNG here on day 1. And with our first day of Worlds 2016 completed, let's take a look at how each group stands. Now, CLG and Rocks are tied atop Group A. AHQ and INTZ share first place in Group C. And in Group D, Samsung Galaxy and Royal Never Give Up lead the way. Group B plays their first games of the tournament tomorrow. And that's scheduled for tomorrow. The action continues for 6 more group stage matches kicking off at 4 p.m. Pacific, 8 a.m. Korea Standard Time. First up, see the defending champs in action for the first time at Worlds 2016 as SK Telecom T1 takes on Cloud9. Then LMS's champs, Flash Wolves, face China's IMA. So gentlemen, that's just the first 2 of the 6 matches, but I turn to you. What perhaps is the match of the 6 that you're most looking forward to tomorrow?
And we're starting the day with a showstopper. This is SKT versus C9. This is SKT Impact now. C9 Impact taking on his old team, world champions on both sides. This is one that sells itself. Super hype.
It's going to be a fantastic cast, too, I've been told.
Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah?
Who's
Why
on
is
it?
that?
Wait,
Huh?
Papa Smithy's on there.
That's true. That's true.
All right. Okay, well, then
At
I'll
least
give
they
it to
got
you.
Papa Smithy.
All right, well, yeah.
Somebody's got to carry Crepo.
Oh.
That was such a downer way to end the note. Tell me something happy, Crumbs.
NA won more than you?
There it is. All right, well, be sure to stick around after the show for a look at all the day's action as Riv sits down with Jat and Officio in an all-new Worlds tonight. That's going to do it for us, though. So on behalf of myself, the casters, and everyone here in San Francisco, thank you for joining us on opening day of the 2016 World Championships, and we'll see you back here tomorrow as the competition continues.